from Aussie Theme Parker. This is our inaugural video to our really our channel for Australian theme park content and also international content from an Australian point of view. I thought for our inaugural video we'd bring you here to Gumbai World in Victoria. Brought you here because about 20 minutes drive in that direction is where I live. So this is my local theme park. I grew up coming to Gumbai Park as a kid, and I must say that when I was growing up in the early 90s, I used to love coming to Gumbai Park back then. It was great. The toboggans were fantastic. I loved the cars and stuff like that. But when you look back on it now, it just doesn't compare to what people want in a theme park these days. And I came back here with my daughter in 2016, and I was astounded by the fact that nothing really had been done. I think it was in 2016, the park was bought by a group of investors, which included the owner and founder of Jayco, Jerry Ryan, and the owner of carsales.com. There was a few other investors in that as well, but there's a lot of money just from those investors. A lot of money behind those people, so it brought a lot of excitement to the area that something was going to be done. And in 2017 work was started on the new park, which was rebranded Gumbai World. $50 million was spent on phase one, and we'll show you a lot of that today. In the last 9 months, more announcements were made for another $90 million to be spent on the park, which includes accommodation, more attractions, doubling the size of the water park, a microbrewery, a chocolate factory. But anyway, I'll go into more of that soon, but I'm just going to come over here and show you a bit of obviously construction that's going on. So just as you see just up here, those are the Boomerango and the Taipan, the two major slides that they have here. But just over here, you can see the frame is going up for the next stage, which is going to include 6 water slides. There'll be 2 different kinds of slides, 4 slides for one type and 2 for the other. Can't really go into exactly what they are going to be because I don't have the details right in front of me. It was meant to open for the September Victorian school holidays. That is just over 2 weeks away, so I don't think that is going to happen, but it's very, very exciting. Now it's a terrible weather today, but it's a Saturday and there's people working on it, so obviously trying to get it sorted ASAP. As soon as you walk in, you come across the macaws. So you can pay to have an experience with the macaws. You come in, the handlers will get you to hold them, stuff like that. It's really quite cool. I think kind of Disneyland was the very, very first theme park that certainly started the whole different worlds, and very, very similar to the whole Disneyland outlook. There is a kind of a central circle right here, and the current 4 worlds branch off from. So when phase 1 renovations of the park finished in December of 2017, the 4 worlds opened, which was the Wildlife Trail, Outback Explorers, Oz Adventure and Oasis Springs. Now, $50 million sounds like a lot of money, but it's not when you're I suppose when you're building a theme park. And I mean, from where I can see, I remember the park from 6 months before phase 1 opened, and I can tell you that the majority of the money would have gone to the Wildlife Trail and into Oasis Springs. So this building here, this is not yet finished. I'm not quite sure what it is at the moment. It was meant to be kind of an indigenous cultural centre, something like that, but yeah, it's not opened yet, so we'll see how that goes in the next couple of months. Now the Rebel, this is the Rebel. The Rebel is the one ride that has been brought into the park in the last 12 months. In my opinion, since the park reopened in late 2017, it's been crying out for more non-water rides, and I still believe that now. You know, I'd really like to see some more non-water rides. When the park reopened again, I keep on bringing it up at the end of 2017, was I found that they really wanted to distance themselves from Gumbai Park. They wanted them to become a whole new theme park without kind of forgetting their roots. But what I found in the last 6 or 12 months, they've really kind of stopped doing that, which isn't such a bad thing. I've really found that they've started to bring out, you know, kind of remember the old Gumbai Park. So these tables and chairs, they were all in the old picnic area at Gumbai Park, and I think it's really cool to remember that the park's isn't 2 years old. You know, the park is over 40 years old. It's just got a different name, and a lot of money has been spent on it. But we can kind of get an idea of what's been going on here. So I'll just take you around here. So this is where the water park finishes. The current water park finishes. So here we have the lazy river, and just up here is the frame for the new water slides. So that's going to be really interesting. And as you can see there, I thought that they've enclosed the stairway. No, haven't. That's just yeah, that's obviously part of all the new water slides. So they have just started to put the new slides up. So that's looking very, very interesting. And it looks as though the new water slides are actually going to have the same stairway as the Taipan and the Boomerango, which, you know, that's quite interesting because I can't see any other stairway at the moment. There's the kids area, the splash area. Just a warning though, even during the middle of summer, the lazy river is heated. It's a really nice temperature, you know, even when it's 22 or 23 degrees outside. But that area is absolutely freezing, even if it's 35 degrees outside. During the winter, what's been really good with Gumbai World this year is during winter they've still kind of kept the water park open, and they've had brought two attractions in here. The paddle boats from the old Gumbai Park have come in here, so people have been able to use those, and they've also brought Zorb balls into one of the pools. The negative about the Zorb balls is that you can't, they open them from 12 till 3. You can't just come in here at say 1:30, 2 o'clock like I did with my daughter one day. It's not like a lot of other theme parks. It's not, you know, if you're lining up for it at, you know, 2 minutes to 3, you'll get on. No. At 1:30 we lined up and they didn't expect us to get on by 3, so we were told, sorry guys, don't even bother lining up, which was a bit upsetting, to be honest. But if we just go around here and have a bit of a look, this is the other major work that's happening here, and I think it's a bit of a no-brainer for why they've done this. You know, quite a grand area here at the moment. This is going to be the wave pool. So one of the problems that Gumbai World has during the summer is it gets so busy that even the lazy river just becomes so incredibly busy that you can't even get in it. So wait times are always a problem when it comes to theme parks. But this looks a very, very grand area. When I found out there was a wave pool coming in here, I certainly didn't expect it to be this big. There's cabanas going in there as well, as we've well expected. But this is very grand. This is the size of a beach. In my opinion, this is just as big, if not bigger, than Wet n Wild up on the Gold Coast. Looks fantastic. Now we've just come out into Oz Adventure. Yeah, just come out to Oz Adventure. Now, currently, Gumbai World has two cafes, two places you can eat. There is probably one negative about Gumbai World is that they prohibit outside food. That includes your own food. At the end of the day, that's their rule. But currently they have two places where you can eat. There's Rock Springs. This is the cafe right next to the water park. Separates the Oasis Springs to Oz Adventure, and then just over in that direction you have the Outback Cafe, which is the old cafe back in the Gumbai Park days. Encouraging people to remember about them being Gumbai Park is that they've also brought back some old favourites from Gumbai Park. So Gumbai Park, I'm sorry about the wind, it's incredibly cold today. They had a tractor ride which went back to the right at the rear of the park. They've brought that back, which is really cool. There's one at 1:30 and we might try and get on that. Yeah, there's one in a half an hour's time, so we'll try and get on that. And it will give us a chance to see the old park, see us the back where the toboggans used to be, stuff like that. So that should be pretty cool. This also used to be obviously at Gumbai Park. You know, I can remember doing that when I was a kid. Now, at the start of the video I was talking about the phase 1 budget of $50 million and where it was spent, and I did say that most of it would have been spent in Oasis Springs and the Wildlife Trail. Look, a couple of really good attractions were put into Oz Adventure. So there you have the Mine Coaster. Look, in my opinion, I'm quite a coaster enthusiast, as you will see from other videos in the near future. This is certainly nowhere near my favourite coaster, not even for a small coaster. It's very jolty. My daughter Carissa is not. Yeah, she's not that comfortable with rides at the best of times, but I encouraged her one day earlier in the year to go on that with me, and they had to stop the coaster halfway through the ride. Goes around 3 times. Yeah, they had to stop it after 2 times because she was screaming, and I just think the amount of jolting for such a small coaster was a bit full on for her. That's not bad. The rush hour, if you don't mind spinny rides, I'm not a fan, but a really cool ride that they do have here is the tree swing. It doesn't look like much, but it's incredible how how full on that can actually feel. I don't know why I'm walking over the wet grass at the moment, but I'm getting my shoes incredibly wet. So yeah, from what I was just telling you, obviously a little bit of money was spent on this world. Where I think probably more money probably should have been spent and wasn't spent was in Outback Explorers, which is kind of directed at the at more kids, more young kids, but nearly everything here was kind of recycled from the old park. So the Dodgem cars here, they haven't moved. They were from the old park. The other 2 attractions just in there, the little pirate ship and the Outback Pursuit, they were from the old park, Gunbuy Park. They used to be just behind the cafe. The Roadhouse over here. Now that was, these trucks here, they were just play equipment. They didn't even move in the old park. Kids just used to get up and play on these just outside the cafe. So yeah, 60 k's an hour. It probably doesn't look like that much, but it's yeah, it's actually quite full on up there. So just viewing from Outback Explorers, kind of look over into the distance here, and just on that hill, I'll try and zoom in a little bit when I'm editing, but you can certainly see the decimation from the bushfires earlier this year. What I was going to say before about the food here at Gunbuy World, as I said before, it is, you can't bring outside food in, even for yourself. One of the negatives at the moment, I have no problem with that rule at all. But one of the problems that Gunbuy World has at the moment is that they have the 2 cafes, but almost identical food. So look, the food is not expensive for cafe food, I don't believe here, but there isn't a great deal of variety. So with the next phase of Gunbuy World, supposed to open by the end of the year, and everything, you know, phase 4 meant to be opening I think in 2021-22. Really hoping that they have more of a selection of cuisine and foods here, because at the moment it is, you know, a little bit, I don't know if you'd call it boring, but it's all the same stuff.
And I'm going to be your tractor driver for today. For those of you that didn't know, Gunbuy itself is situated on approximately 400 acres, and the current Gunbuy World theme park development sits on about 1/10 of that. Today we're about halfway down towards our back fence through some of old Gunbuy Park and some bushland trails we have around here. Hopefully you'll see some wildlife like some kangaroos and emus and stuff like that. However, unlike our wildlife trail though, these are actual wild animals that are native to this area, so they aren't used to it. They're used to seeing us around, but they don't rely on us at all for safety or survival or anything like that. So just make sure any loose items you bring on board with you, especially any food, does stay on board with you and doesn't come off during the ride. The tractor is quite loud, so if anything, just kind of yell at me, I'll jump off and go and grab it. Otherwise, just any questions and stuff, make sure you kind of keep those to yourselves, and I will answer them as we jump off.
Got on the tractor. So this is taking us to the old Gunbuy Park area.
Keep a keen eye on our social. We just recently announced a live music event called Sounds by Nature. So this grassy, soon to be grassy patch over to my right hand side is where we'll be holding that. We'll be building a stage out over there, and the whole area will hold about 4,000 people.
So this is taking us as kind of to the old buggy area. Glad that I have a gimbal underneath this camera, because it's extremely bumpy at the moment. So this gives you an idea of the old buggy track. That's where just over there is where the paddle boats used to be. Just been brought out for effect.
This area for quarantining of new animals coming into the park, as well as rehabilitation for animals taken off this lane.
Sort of the old barbecue areas at Gunbuy Park.
Kind of a safe haven for a nice shelter for our local kangaroos. As you can see, they just kind of hang around and bounce around.
Okay, this is the old toboggan run at the end of it. There has been some talk that in the near future they will try and reopen it in some kind of form.
Directly ahead of us. At Gunbuy, our kangaroos, it's around breeding season at the moment. So I'm not sure how close they're going to let us get, but some of the mother kangaroos, they do have joeys in their pouches, and some heads might pop out. You might see some really large bellies, and that's what they are.
Well, it's kind of been taken over by wildlife. There's a large group of kangaroos just here on the left-hand side,
Just trying to see if I can see a joey.
and they're just crossing now.
Just jumping across the road here, you don't ever see her belly is quite enlarged at the bottom there.
So just learning on that tour that this area over here that we were wondering about before, I was wondering about before, what this is going to be. This is going to be the staged area for where Sounds of Nature is going to be. I don't know if this is going to be a permanent area where their music and entertainment is going to be, but you would definitely, by looking at it, think that it's kind of made for entertainment. The fact that it is kind of sloped down, so you can have audiences up on that hill and a stage down there. And from what our guide was saying, that there'll be 4,000 people in here for that show. So it's a really good initiative from the park to do this. It's a really good thing to do. Yeah, so far there hasn't been any announcements on phase 3 and phase 4 for the park. Yes, we know that there's going to be accommodation, there's going to be a microbrewery, there's going to be a chocolate factory in here, which are really good initiatives and, you know, incredibly exciting. But in terms of attractions, phase 2 opens later on this year with the new water slides and the wave beach and things like that. But In terms of non-water attractions, as you can see here, this is what you have. Yeah, the tree swing's really cool, but everything else is kind of, you'd call ex-carnival rides, and I don't want to say that with any disrespect, because the park we have here is incredibly good, but it's not going to, I'll put it in, I'll put it this way. I'm pretty sure the investors want this park to be enticing international visitors here. Currently, it's not going to entice people to come here instead of going to the Gold Coast, quite simply put. So it's going to be really interesting to see what announcements are brought in the next year or so on more attractions. I would really like to see a couple more big attractions for these two worlds. And when I say big attractions, I'm talking attractions that are going to cost you know tens of millions of dollars. I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't know if that can happen with a Victorian theme park. But you know, if they bring in a couple of big ticket attractions that are not reliant on weather, similar, you know, Dreamworld has just opened up a ride, kind of a simulator ride that is similar to Soaring Over the World, Soaring Over California that they have at Disneyland. I'm certainly not saying that the budgets are the same, they don't have to be, but if Dreamworld can do it, I'm pretty sure that something similar can be brought here. That would be fantastic. Okay, as soon as you walk in, you've got the petting zoo, which is really cool. My daughter absolutely loves it.
Alice, what are you doing? Alice, what's that? Did you fall over?
So as we hear here, there is a ranger with a python, so we'll just go down and see this.
Sometimes it takes like 10 people just to be able to carry it. So would you guys like to have a little bit of a pat over here? So I'm going to keep the head end over here. So you can have some fun with my keys. Don't steal my keys while I'm there. You can have a pat as well, absolutely. Yeah, right now I like it. Good stuff. Pretty cool.
Kind of like a reptile area. Apparently this was one of the big reasons why the investors invested in this park, because, look, again, don't quote me, from what I was reading, this was one of only 4 private zoo licenses in Victoria that Gunbuyer Park had. I don't know if that includes the zoos or that's just the private ones, but that was a big reason why the Gunbuyer Park had a lot of value to the investors. Now to the rear here, this is where the old entry into Gunbuyer Park was. It was just around the corner. You used to pay at the gate in your car, and you'd pay an entry fee per person or per family. You drive, and that was not including the rides. You drive around the back to where the cafe is. You'd park your car there. You take your barbecue out or whatever, and then rides were on top of it. The dingoes are just waiting for us. But one of the really good things that Gunbuy World has is, firstly, they have animal feeding, so you can come in and feed the kangaroos. The kangaroos are very friendly. They'll eat from your hand, and I suppose especially from international visitors who certainly aren't, you know, never fed a kangaroo in their life and have only seen them from a fence at a zoo, to actually feed a kangaroo up close by the hand is, you know, quite impressive. But another thing I really love about Gunbuy World is that I've been to a lot of zoos, and you see koalas at every zoo you go to, but I've never actually been to a zoo where you get up this close to koalas. Well, you know, there's a couple of wallabies right there, but to get up this close to a koala, now anybody who used to come to Gunbuy Park will know that the aviary that they had was falling apart. It's one of the things I really remember about the last 6 months of Gunbuy Park being open, is that it was falling apart, and especially where all the pheasants and all the birds were. And this is really, really impressive. The walk through aviary now. You know, you can get up extremely close to the birds. As you can see here. I remember this one. I don't know if it's the same one. This one here. Yep, just likes to come up and have a bit of a nibble on it. As you can see here. Now it's going to be a bit of a struggle to get him off me. I don't know what he's chewing on. And he's in my ear now. But you know, all in a day's work. Yeah, I think he's quite comfortable there. Oh yeah, he's finally gotten off. Okay, the last place we'll go in the wildlife trail will be the kangaroo feeding area. Now food is available for $3 at the front of the park, and I just saw it was available just as you're just where the petting zoo is. So $3 for a bit of food. We'll go and have a look. Now to get to the kangaroos, you've got to go past the emus and the really cool deer. The deer is extremely friendly. Let's see if we can get him over. Get her over. Here we go. There we go. come through here before when, you know, during the middle of summer when a lot of people have been through here, and the kangaroos don't want to know you because they've been overfed. With a quiet day today, these kangaroos are obviously hungry because they're starting to come over. Unfortunately, I don't have any food, but this is how approachable the kangaroos are. They're quite happy just to come up to you. Now that's about it for the blog of Gumbai World. This is September of 2019. At this point in time, during the colder months, the ticket prices do change. So current pricing at the moment, I think, is $25 for an adult. Now I'm not sure when that will last to. Probably until just before the spring holidays, which is I think starts the last week of September. That's when the park will be open Monday to Sunday. And I'm pretty sure that ticket pricing will be going back to $49 for an adult, $43 for a child. What has become very, very popular though are the annual passes, which I have right there. For an adult, they're $129. For a child, they're $99. I'm not sure if those prices will change once phase 2 opens I think in time for the summer school holidays. Very, very good value. The great thing about the annual passes here is there are no blockout dates. So it's whenever the park is open, the annual pass is available. You know, you get discounts. Yeah, it's well worth it, especially if you do live close by. And the great thing about Gumbai World is, you know, you get on the Monash Freeway, and you know it's on the Monash Freeway, so there's no deviating. So it gives you a bit more of an idea of what's going on here. And just about to exit, saying goodbye to the macaws.